to scout. You just got to be careful. Don't lose it to a stalk or anything like that. That would suck pretty hard. So you can scout with the Raven. You just got to be really careful because it's an expensive piece of equipment. But as you guys can see, I have now built the command center, so I am going to expand. I have transitioned from the 111 into multiple factories. And what's nice now is you can actually use the starport to now pump out Vikings or Banshees. And you guys can see at the top right hand corner of my opponent's base, he did have a Stargate. So I'm going to get a couple Vikings in case he's getting Void Rays. And so as you guys can see, that's the versatility that the 111 build gives you. You've got every single production building that the Terran has, and so you can produce anything to deal with the Protoss, no matter what he decides to throw at you. DTs, Void Rays, you name it, you've got it. So you guys can see I am throwing down a ton of factories. I have 3 or 4 right now, all of them with tech labs, so I'm going to get a ton of siege tanks coming out pretty soon. And there's a couple of varieties you can go from here. You don't have to get siege mode per se. You can actually just get a bunch of siege tanks and push, or if you want to turtle up a little bit, you can get siege tech and then turtle up and make sure you can secure that natural. Also getting a bunker there so I can run my Marines inside if I need to. And watching back at this game, I realized that one of my fundamental mistakes here was not getting more Marines. Really, this 111 build, you need a lot more Marines early on. That barrack should have been pumping out. I should have at least 10 right now. Just in case, like if my opponent had gone for an early rush or some kind of an attack right now, I probably wouldn't have enough forces to deal with it. But if I had some Marines, I should be able to hold on to this point where I've got more tanks coming out. So you guys can see I have a pretty nice, well-composed Terran army right here. I do see that Observer, so another ability of the 111 allows you to take out these Observers quickly and efficiently, which, as you guys all know, is like Protoss map hack, so you definitely don't want to give that to them. Gonna be throwing down another factory, and at this point, it's also wise to get a Ghost Academy down, because as you guys know, Ghosts are great against Protoss. They have EMP, they can snipe High Templar, and High Templar are fairly good against the 111 build. So yeah, getting those Ghosts out are extremely important, and I'm a little bit lacking, so I'm not getting the Ghost Academy, and I don't think I ever did. But you guys will have to just excuse me for that and take the tutorial for what it is, as I do have a Banshee coming out right here. Gonna just do a little bit of harassment. And the 111 is nice for that because you have that starport, you have that tech lab. Why not get a Banshee out, do some harass, and keep the Protoss a little bit more defensive throughout the game. So continuing to add on more factories, I should be thinking about getting an expansion pretty soon here as well for my 3rd. And I think that is what I'm going to do. I'm going to destroy those rocks fairly soon here, if I haven't already. But as you guys can see, I do have quite a few factories right now. I can pump out a lot of siege tanks, and this is where really the 111 becomes your own flavor. You can do whatever you kind of like. It's important you stick towards the ground, towards mech, because that's where Terran is really good on the ground. So you've got all these factories. Feel free to produce what you like and tailor it to what your opponent is going. For example, if your opponent was going, say, Mass Immortal, then you're probably going to need more Marines than you're going to need tanks. And if he's going Mass Stalker, get a lot of siege tanks. Now you guys can see my opponent is actually going to be pushing out here. So here we go. Going to test how well this 111 build is going to do. And another thing I didn't point out about the power of the 111 and that Raven is the PDD. Point Defense Drone is so good against Protoss for stopping those Stalkers. And there goes the Point Defense Drone, sieging up my tanks. The Point Defense Drone gonna stop all these Stalkers' attacks as long as it has that energy. And my tanks are now sieged up. I should have more Marines, but I have some. And I think I am going to be able to hold this off. And my opponent is pretty much done. And oh yes, getting Thors, of course, as well. Thors, of course, good in any situation. And that is pretty much GG. My opponent says well played, and that is a basic introduction to the 111 execution and build order for Terran versus Protoss. So look forward to more StarCraft 2 tutorials in the near future. And of course, like I said, these tutorials more tailored for the gold and below players. So let's go ahead and recap the 111 build. It means one barracks, one factory, one starport to start off with. It's great against Protoss, especially if they get those Dark Templar or Void Rays or anything like that, because you have the versatility. And what you want to do, you can do a slight variation, and it's actually quite popular, is to pump out some Hellions early on, try to do some harass with those Hellions to keep the Protoss back. Once you got your starport, get your Raven out quickly, and you can actually use it to scout a little bit. And the Raven's a great addition to the Terran army. After the 111 has finished, you transition into more factories, get some mechanized Terran units out, and that's pretty much the recap of the 111 build. Fairly simple, but there's a lot of variance to this strategy because it's just so versatile and so good for Terran players. But of course, I'll still be doing shoutcasts as well, and thank you guys for tuning in, and best of luck on BattleNet 2.0. Thanks a lot, guys. HD, signing out.